What's up everybody, G here, VP of Content, fitnessinformant.com, here to bring you a review on a product that has everybody's attention these days. We are talking, of course, about Ghost Burn Black. This is the new thermogenic powder from our friends at Ghost. And last year, Ghost Burn was our #1 rated fat burner. It technically still is. But this is pretty much almost the same thing, and in fact it's even an upgrade. So I'm not going to waste your time. Let's dive into the profile and why this product may be the new fat burner for 2020. Let's go. All right, so we're going to go over the profile. To start, we're going to go by the 2-serving dose. That's what we use, but that's what I use myself. So to start it off, 2 scoops gets you, which is 2 servings, gives you 3 grams of carnitine, 1.5 from L-carnitine L-tartrate, and 1.5 from acetyl L-carnitine. These are 2 very good forms of carnitine. Carnitine does not directly burn fat. It may help your body utilize fat cells as energy. However, with tartrate, there are some benefits in terms of muscle recovery. There are human studies on this, multiple, by the way. And there are also human studies for acetyl L-carnitine aiding in mental cognition. It's actually considered a nootropic by some. So 2 great forms there. They're certainly not cheap, and they're certainly at a great dose in 3 grams. So good job there, Ghost. Moving on. We have an addition. This is Ghost Burn Black is essentially an upgrade from the original one. One new ingredient they decided to include is Garcinia Cambogia. This was made famous by Dr. Oz, 6 years ago now? And although we're not sold on it yet, there may be some benefits to it in terms of appetite suppression, something that the original Ghost Burn didn't really have as, compared to some other products out there. You're getting 1.5 grams in here, and one thing we have to give them credit on is the hydroxycitric acid, the active component or the active ingredient of Garcinia Cambogia, is at 60%. So usually you see it at 50% and lower than this dose. Next ingredient we have is choline bitartrate at 1 gram. We're not fans of choline bitartrate here. It doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier very well. We'd prefer to see alpha GPC or CDP choline, cytocholine, but at least they put a full gram. A lot of companies will just put in like 200 milligrams, 500 milligrams, and call it a nootropic. They double that. Moving on, we have KSM-66. KSM-66, this is ashwagandha. This is a trademark form of ashwagandha, and it has actually been shown to reduce cortisol levels. Everybody knows that too much cortisol can be detrimental to your fat loss goals. It can make you crave stuff, make you crave sugar. So it's a good ingredient. It's great to see in here. You see this in a lot more products these days as well. So in terms of fat burn. So moving on, at 600 milligrams, it is at the clinical dose. Moving on, we have L-tyrosine at 500 milligrams. Tyrosine is a precursor to dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. So 500 milligrams is like the lowest dose we'd like to see. Typically 500 to 1.5 grams is enough. We also have caffeine in here. I mean, what fat burning powder wouldn't have caffeine in there? You get at 300 milligrams per 2 scoops, 150 for 1. This is a very solid dose, it's actually the same as the old one. Caffeine's a very personal ingredient, so 150 milligrams might barely give someone energy. Some people might not notice it, and some people might feel cracked out from it. This is really going to depend on your tolerance. Moving on, we have cocoa bean extract at 100 milligrams. This is a natural source of theobromine. Theobromine is similar to caffeine. It's actually a xanthan as well. It can increase energy without having any potential vasoconstrictive properties to it, like caffeine debatably may have. Next up, we have Neurofactor at 100 milligrams. This actually does have studies. We do have a write-up on the site. I highly suggest you check it out for more info. It's basically a new nootropic. It's great for brain cognition, maybe even energy as well. It's sourced from coffee fruit. 100 milligrams is the clinical dose. Again, check it out on our website. There's some interesting research. Next, we have a new addition to this, to Ghost Burn, called GBB at 50 milligrams. This is a new ingredient to the market, or fairly new. When you take it in, it actually increases the carnitine production in your body, is an easy way to put it. And let me tell you, there's a side effect that nobody knows why it happens, but it makes you sweat. One big difference, the thermogenesis on Ghost Burn Black, Ghost Burn, the original one, was already impressive. This one, with this added, it actually looks pretty intimidating when you look at the profile and you've been around this. So either way, we like the addition of that. We like the side effects. Next up, we have estrogen at 50 milligrams. This helps with absorption. It's at a good dose, not much to say there. And finally, we have Grains of Paradise at 40 milligrams. This will give the product a spicy flavor to it. It's from Grains of Paradise. Grains of Paradise has an ingredient called 6-paradol in there, or an active ingredient called 6-paradol, and it has been shown in clinical studies to be beneficial for fat loss in human studies. So overall, at 40 milligrams is well dosed. So with that said, overall, the profile is very impressive. It's fully disclosed. A lot of the ingredients in here are dosed well. The only gripe we have really is the choline bitartrate, and we could use a little bit more tyrosine. That's all nice and dandy. Did it work? Let's get into the effectiveness right now. So when it comes to fat burners and effectiveness, we have to admit that fat burners will not burn fat on their own. You still have to diet, you still have to exercise. So with that out of the way, make sure those two are in check, then this may help. So there are 3 categories that we look at here on FI for fat burners. Those are energy, appetite suppression, and thermogenesis, or the thermogenic fuel rather. So as far as energy goes, you're getting 300 milligrams of caffeine in here. 300 milligrams of caffeine, it's a very personal ingredient, personal drug, I should say. 300 milligrams is certainly a great way to start your day. The way I took it right in the morning, 2 scoops, 300 milligrams of caffeine. Got on my bike, my exercise bike, and did my cardio, built up a sweat to start the day. With that said, you're also going to get an increase in focus from the acetyl-L-carnitine as well as the tyrosine. That's noticeable as well. So energy, it's solid. It's not overpowering, but it is overall good, and there's no real crash to speak of either. So as for appetite suppression, this was the weak point of Ghost Burn, and this one is actually an upgrade. It's not going to crush your appetite. I can only describe it as an appetite control. Like, you can eat if you need to, and you're not going to like look at food and feel sick like some very powerful fat burners out there do, but you still have control over it. You can look at food and think, oh, that looks good, but I don't need it right now, is a good way to put it. So good job there. Finally, as for thermogenesis, that was already good on Ghost Burn, the original. This one just ramps that up with the GBB. It has the same amount of grains of paradise. You take this, if you're not used to GBB, you can build up a tolerance to that. You will, like within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you'll like start to notice like sweat beads start to pour from your forehead. And even after only 5 minutes of cardio, I was already drenched in sweat. If you take a pre-workout, you're gonna have a sweaty session, so be sure to shower afterwards. Ghost killed it with this one. It's already an upgrade from the original, which was our 2019 Fat Burner of the Year. So Ghost, good job. Let's move on. Let's get into taste. The taste on Ghost Burn, we had the Welch's grape juice, as you can see. It's spot on. The only issue, it's not even an issue really in my eyes. The grains of paradise kind of gives it like a very slight hint of spice in the background, and it doesn't even hurt the product. It's still very true to Welch's grape juice, and they killed this one. I know they have other flavors out and other flavors coming. Either way, we suggest Welch's grape juice. Let's move on to the mixability. So as you can see here in our mixing video, I am taking a scoop out, putting it in the shaker cup, closing the lid and mixing it up. And there's nothing to complain about here. I was kind of worried that the grains of paradise might give it a little grit or some of the other ingredients, but nope, nothing. There's no real floaties to speak of, nothing going in there. There is a lot of dyes, but it has to look like Welch's grape juice. Either way, Ghost killed this part. Let's move on. Nothing to complain about there. Okay, now we get to value. Ghost Burn Black can be found for about $49.99 directly from their website. Use coupon code Informant, you get 20% off. This is a fair deal. It's about $1 per scoop, or it's like pretty much exactly $1 per scoop. This is a fair deal considering the ingredients you're getting in there. You are getting ashwagandha, you're getting tyrosine, you're getting a whopping dose of carnitine, 2 great forms of carnitine, as well as some GBB. You're gonna feel this even at 1 scoop. It's not the cheapest on the market, however, for the dosage, it may as well be. It's certainly priced very competitively, and actually very fair. A lot better than some of the other ones out there, we have to admit. Like the further you look into it and you compare it to other products out there, it's actually very, very competitive. So overall, Ghost Burn Black right now is pretty much the 2020 Fat Burn of the Year. We don't really do that award anymore, but going by our ranking guides, Ghost Burn won last year, or was our top ranked one last year. This one's probably gonna overtake that spot. It's pretty much the same thing, just upgraded. So they kind of took what isn't broken and just kind of added to it to make it even better. Ghost, they know what they're doing there. Be sure to read that written review, subscribe to the YouTube channel, also